Below the equator and Java Sea, northwest of Australia and southwest of Malaysia, is the island of Bali. It's but a small dot in the whole country of Indonesia, with a mere 4 million inhabitants out of 267 million. It's an idyllic spot where people are as charming as the environment. They treat each other as brothers and sisters. And practice a religion that harmonizes with nature.
The gods can't find a better place to dwell than in the mountains and waters of Bali, because the Balinese worship volcanoes and assign gods to the lakes, streams, and waterfalls.
In every home and garden, there's a stone carving like a portable shrine dedicated to a god. You can see it in gas stations and everywhere. One writer fittingly described Bali as the island of the gods.
Arriving in Bali half asleep at past midnight, we hail a cab and hurriedly check into a hotel we could hardly see in the dark. It is called Wardapura Cottages in the southern town of Sanur.
With our thatched roof cottage amidst a tropical garden on the beachfront, we discover paradise. Costs only $10 a night with breakfast for two. We thought we were dreaming. Thanks to our taxi driver for taking us to this government-owned hotel.
The breakfast room is a large open pavilion, hardly occupied in the month of April, so we get a special service by 4 people. The workers live in the compound. The cook takes his son for a walk. The daughter poses for me in her sarong, but the younger one shies away.
Each morning, I look forward to a large slice of papaya, eggs, toast with marmalade, and lots of strong Balinese coffee. We spend our first morning lounging around, watching TV with only one channel, and strolling in the gardens.
A few steps away is the beach, kept immaculate by these women in yellow uniform. The sun is bright and the water is warm and inviting. This girl, as everyone else, is friendly to foreigners as she shows her catch. This local guy stops jogging to talk to me in German, as there are lots of German tourists and I'm mistaken for one. I respond in German. He'll be our guide for the next day.
Meanwhile, let's go shopping, as we need a sarong to wear for the festival. Outside our hotel, motorcycles and BMOs, or passenger vans, have the run of the road. We walk to our favorite restaurant, Bio Garden. We get the artistically served nasi goreng, or fried rice, topped with egg on the left, and ayam goreng kamiri, or macadamia chicken. A favorite is sate babi, which is grilled pork with peanut sauce.
On the stage, our guide performs a mass dance on Saturdays. The mass has a sacred power because it represents the gods.
The afternoon is hot and slow. To speed it up, Eric rents a motorcycle, not easy to drive, on the left-hand side of the busy street of Sanur. It rained all night and into the morning. There goes our tour, but the god of rain might have been elated by our plans to go to the festival. And the rain stops. Promptly, our guide whisks us to see Barong and Chris dance. This dance drama originated from India is the struggle between Barong, the good giant, and Rangda, the evil witch.
This is the gamelan, the orchestra of percussion like drums, brawn pots, cymbals, and bamboo resonators beaten with a mallet.
Every village has a temple of origin, of the dead, and of irrigation. Bringing an offering to a local temple is part of daily life. This is the monkey forest, where monkeys thrive from peanuts given by tourists and offerings by locals.
Our guide takes us to see local artists, painters, woodcarvers, and silversmiths. This modern painting is of the young artist style, started in the 60s with vivid colored daily scenes.
In the town of Mas, they make colorful carvings of birds. On the left is Garuda, our favorite bird carving. In Selok, they make intricate works from rings to tableware. The artist shows piety in his artwork and in his floral offering in the workplace.
The principal festival is the anniversary of its founder, called Udalan. The streets are decorated with bamboo banners to welcome the spirit of ancestors. This truck is festival bound, one of the many that passes our way.
We enjoy a Balinese buffet with a view of the volcano that erupted in 1927, burying the town of Lake Batur. Volcanoes are revered as the seat of gods and goddesses. All temples face the volcano mountain because they are pure.
At last we reached the site. What a glorious sight to witness this procession of brightly clad men and women. The temples, in odd numbers, only identify the god it represents. After climbing up a few steps of the main temple, we are barred by a short wall that keeps the evil spirit that travels in a straight line. We can go left or right down to the holiest part. This is the big festival when all the gods come down.
Only women are allowed to carry food offerings on their head. The manku, the spirit priest, accepts the food and flowers into the bamboo altar. He sprinkles holy water to the villagers and places a grain of rice in their foreheads.
Celebration goes on all night. At dawn, the women dance to honor the rising sun. Then they go home with their offerings, the essence of which is consumed by the gods, and then they eat them.
From one holy place, we go to another. This is called the Holy Water Spring Temple, dedicated to the water goddess. The people are bathing in peace and seclusion provided by the heavily wooded environment. In one of the towns are rice terraces, showing the artistic as well as the religious character of the Balinese. They dedicate their staple food to Dewi Sri, the goddess of rice.
This temple-like orange building is the art gallery, surrounded by rice paddies and coconut groves. Nearby must be a school, because these are school kids running an errand with baskets on their heads.
In spite of warnings that while in Bali, leave the driving to the Balinese, Eric must have his 4 wheels to get to 2 seaside resorts. But first, let's get some gas. With a hand pump, this woman fills her bucket with gas
I hope.
and pours it into our tank.
We're off to see the rich and famous by staying at Nusa Dua. What to do? What I've always wanted to do, parasailing and a colorful sail tugged by a boat. Here I go a second time, this time with my camera for aerial shots. After our fill of sun, sea, and food, we lay in the shade with the comfort of a full body massage. I feel rich.
And I feel famous with 2 stylists attending on me for a French braid. To satisfy our curiosity, we drop in at the most famous resort, Kuta. Here you can get the best bargain for resort wear. But it is the most crowded town beach, with as many vendors as tourists. Its long surf along the full length of the beach is famous worldwide. So is its sunset. No thanks. Kuta is too crowded for our taste.
After sunset, I make the hard drive on the left side of dark and poorly marked streets. What a relief to be back home in peaceful Sanur. In tranquility, we enjoy a swim gazing at the stars.
Now let's explore the opposite coast, eastward to Chandi Dasa, known for its lagoons. On what's left of the narrow beach are laid floral offerings for the gods. Eric forgets to appease the gods, so he cuts his foot climbing the boulder, and I have to scramble to the pharmacy for antiseptic and Band-Aid.
On the east and north, Bali has gentler slopes made by volcanic deposits and black sands. Driving north across the island, we climb mountains where amidst nature's finest treasures, we feel closest to the gods.
These rice fields are a sublime work of art. The Balinese treat these terraces like a woman, celebrating its birth, growth, pregnancy, and fruition. These are the famous rice terraces at Tortaganga. Surely, Dewi Sri must have looked down upon them with endless joy, for they are beautiful.
Water, too, is sacred, and the Balinese assign a goddess of irrigation. Villages have a communal system of using running water. We stop at a store for a soft drink. We get off the main road into a street lush with flowers. we run into a procession where all traffic stops.
We arrive at our northernmost destination, Lovina, in the middle of a rainstorm, but we happily jump in the water with raindrops on our head. We have breakfast in this raised pavilion where we can see fishermen's boats come and go. In the back are vendors waiting for Eric to look in their direction. Visiting a local market is our favorite pastime. Here's some colorful grains. Some red rambutan. And brownish orange passion fruit.
On the way back to Sanur, we hike to this waterfall. A 13-year-old boy becomes our guide. He's very knowledgeable and not pushy. He talks about the bamboo, the coffee, and the silver spider in the coffee plant.
This is refreshing. Eric could not resist a dive. He could have broken his neck, but the goddess of the waterfall must have protected him. I, on the other hand, enjoy being cocooned in my watery nook.
Along this road we see a bright array of poinsettias and vivid greens under a tumultuous sky. We eat our lunch in a pleasant, lush environment.
It's so nice to be back home to Wardapura Cottage. From our beach, we can see the inland mountain that we traversed. We see a more spectacular sunset here than in Kuta.
We check out the western side, following signs to Yapanis Hot Springs. At the entrance is a gamelan, an orchestra of percussions. One thing we notice is that the restaurants have no walls. That makes them air-cooled and easier to blend with the garden. It's no surprise to find a temple here. Women come in with offerings on their head and perform their ritual.
The Balinese like to share their temple with visitors, but ask them to wear a sarong and sash. For this is Bali, where you must bow to the will of the gods.